everyone, this is Katie the Novel Stitcher. It is Sunday, July 9th, and this is Flosstube 22. Thank you so much for joining me for my next Flosstube episode. This is a channel where I talk all about cross stitch, what I've been working on, any finishes I have, any whips, any starts, all of that good cross stitch stuff, along with some haul, Flosstube recommendations sometimes, and plans. And then I also sometimes have bookish talk at the end of the video. There won't be any today, but certainly in the next video we'll talk about books toward the end. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining me. I think I got quite a lot of new subscribers recently. Olivia of Pumpkin Hollow Quilts gave me a nice mention on her channel after I had mentioned her on mine, so thank you, Olivia. And thank you to all my returning subscribers. I'm so happy to have you back with me. I always enjoy being with you every couple of weeks and chatting about cross stitch with you and reading your comments and seeing what you're stitching on and what you think about my projects and how just things are going with you. So thank you for being here. And if you're not already subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button and liking this video and leaving a comment and let me know how you're doing and what you're stitching on during this video. A little about me, just because I have quite a few new followers. My name is Katie. I live in southeastern Pennsylvania, a little bit outside of Philadelphia. I'm engaged and getting married in December, so very much looking forward to getting married to my fiance Alex. A lot of wedding planning going on right now. I work in marketing at a financial firm during the day, and at night I mostly cross stitch and read. And I have a cat named Scout, and she is off taking a nap in the bedroom because it is a hot, humid, and rainy day here in Pennsylvania today. So it's a good day to be filming. I'm hoping that the storms that are gonna come this afternoon wait until I'm done with this video, so I'm not giving you a floss tube during a thunderstorm, but we'll see what happens. Oh, actually, Scout, did you see her tail? She woke up and she is squeaking and wandering around. You often don't get a view of her, but there's the tail, like a shark fin in the back of the video. Life update, not a ton going on right now besides for just summer activities and wedding planning, but my brother and my sister-in-law did just give birth to a baby girl this past week, so I'm now an aunt and I have a little niece and she is adorable. So we're all very excited. Mom and baby are doing well. Mom and dad are adjusting to life with a little one, but everything seems to be going good. So super excited about that. Just for their privacy, I won't be sharing too much about her, but her first name starts with a Z, so we will call her Baby Z. And she's here and we're all very excited. And I do have a cross stitch project that I'm working on for her. Unfortunately, I had a major boo-boo and had to rip a lot of it out and redo some stuff. So I won't be sharing it in this video because you won't actually see any progress on it, but I will share it in my next video because that needs to be a focus piece because I gotta make sure I get that done so I can gift it to my brother and sister-in-law to hang up in her nursery. So that's very exciting. So let's just get right to the stitching because I do have quite a bit to share. I have 2 finishes, 3 starts, which is a lot of starts. We'll talk about that. The name of this video might give away what's happening there. 4 whips. I have some haul and some stitch email. I have a couple giveaways and then some plans. So let's start with the finishes. So I'm gonna do the finish that, I'm gonna do this one first. I finished this a couple months ago and never fully finished it. So this is Be Happy by Primrose Cottage Stitches. And here is my finish. And I think it came out really, really cute. I'm really happy with this. So this is stitched on, I think, a 32 count, just like Whisper Lugana or a light gray Lugana. I use mostly the called for DMC. I lightened up the yellow a little bit just because I don't think I had the called for. And then the kind B and the border here on the Primrose chart is actually done in a brown, and I did it in like a bluish green. So that is my finish. And so when I'm finishing, sometimes I'll have in mind how I want to finish something, and sometimes I will just pull from my kind of stash of finishing items. And so this board I got at Target in the dollar spot, probably back in the spring, not knowing what I would use it for, but thinking this will work somehow for a finish. There's nothing on the back. It's probably supposed to be like a decorative tray, but I thought this would fit perfect. And then I did get this, I think it's called Rick Rack ribbon from, I think Joann's, and I got that explicitly to use with this because I knew that the yellow would match. And then I just had these fabrics in stash, probably from Michael's or Joann's. And then these are actually buttons, or not buttons, beads that I got at Joann's. They're just metal beads in all these different colors, and they were just on sale. So I figured I'll use them in some capacity. And so I just kind of pull out all my stash of finishing supplies, kind of match things up, see what's gonna work, see what's gonna fit, and figure out kind of on the fly how I wanna finish things. And so that's what I did with this. And I actually did use sticky board for this, and I'm getting much better at these lines being straight and doing the sticky board so that it's not crooked when it's finished. And I think it came out super sweet. I do have to like lean it on something because there's nothing on the back. I could put like a thing to hang it if I ever want to hang it on the wall, but for now it just is going on my bookshelf and leans up against there, and I think it's super cute. So I'm really happy with how this one turned out. So that is Be Kind, Be Happy, Be Happy by Primrose Cottage Stitches. And then my next finish is both like a finish because you saw it almost finished in the last video, and then also fully finished. And this is Strawberry House by Little House Needleworks. And this is stitched on a 32 count Murano and just like an ice, like a really soft blue. And I got this at Michael's. They might still have them. I got it a while ago, but I did see them last time I was in Michael's a few weeks ago. It was on sale. It was like $8. And I knew it would work for like a small finish to set it back there and then put something on the tray, but I wasn't exactly sure what I would use it for, and this pattern is just the perfect size. So again, just sticky board, stuck that down. I had some different colors of pink fabric in stash. I thought that color worked well, and then I wasn't sure what I was gonna put on the bottom there. I thought maybe I'll get a felt strawberry, or I'll find something that could kind of just sit on the shelf. And then I remembered I had these little flowers that I got from Joann's, or maybe Michael's, and they came separate with like leaves and stems, and then the flowers themselves in different colors and whites and reds and pinks. And so I just glued those down there, arranged the leaves how I wanted them, and there we go. And this can just sit on a shelf. And I think it's super cute, and I really like how that turned out. I like finishing in creative ways. It allows you to kind of think outside the box to see what different kinds of frames or pieces would work, what colors or little additional, pops of color or elements you can use. And so I'm really happy with how this turned out, and it sits on the windowsill in my living room. So that was really fun too. So you can really be creative, but not go too far. I don't do a ton of embellishments and ribbons and bows, which you can do if you like having a lot going on, but I want the stitching to shine. And I think like this one, it really does. The stitching is really very much the focus piece, but it's just something different than just framing it. I would love to learn how to finish things into pillows. One thing I want once Alex and I get married, we're house hunting right now, so fingers crossed that we find something soon, so we can, get our house all in order before we get married. If not, we'll rent if we can't find a house we like before the fall or the winter. But once we do that and I have more space, I'm gonna get a sewing machine and learn how to make pillows. But for now, there's other ways you can kind of be creative with finishing besides just framing things. And I usually go to Joann's, Michael's, or Big Lots to find or Target, Dollar Spot, to find just pieces. You can cover stuff, if it has a phrase or a saying, you can just cover that up with stitching, and to just be creative and have a little fun with it. So those are my two finishes. And then we will go on to starts. So I have 3 starts, and the name of this video should be A Summer of Starts, then a Winter of Whips. And so what I've decided is I'm just in a very starting mood. I just want to stitch all the things, watching Flosstube and people's whip parades and everything going on. There's so many things I want to stitch. Went to a couple cross stitch shops recently, just have a lot of great patterns, and a lot of good patterns are coming out from different designers. And I'm just in that mood to just kind of start all the things. So what I decided to do to kind of allow myself to start things but not end up with a ton of whips that I'm not gonna really make progress on, you know, in the next year or so, is this winter I will focus on whips and I won't do any starts for the first few months of the year. And that way I can, you know, kind of hunker down in the winter and get things finished and fully finished so that they don't just sit in a pile not done, but allow myself to start whatever I want this summer. And I think that works well because in the summer you're having fun stitching summer things. You're also thinking about fall, Halloween, Christmas, like they're not here yet, but you're starting to see people stitch Christmas in July and to feel like, okay, I want to get started on some fall things so that I'm stitching them and well into stitching them when the fall comes or when Halloween comes. And so like now's the time where you want to start all the things, whereas for me personally, like in winter, I don't really have a desire to start something for Christmas after Christmas is over, or to start something summery when it's gray and cold. It doesn't mean I won't want to work on it, but to like actually like kit it up and start it and pick the pattern, I don't think there's as much energy there for that. And so I think winter will be a good time to just focus on my whips. I'll come up with some sort of rotation or way to make sure I'm making progress on things and finishing things. Alex is a tax accountant, so he's really busy in February and March and early April, so that's also a good time for me to have the extra time to focus on stitching while he is busy with work. So I think that will all work out. So that's the plan. I'm not gonna start like dozens of things, but I have a good pile of things I am tempted to start. I'm gonna try not to go too crazy, but just let me start what I want when I want. So nothing, not an official thing, not a sal or anything like that, but if anyone else is in the mood to start things, know that you're not alone, and that is my plan. So let's look at the 3 new starts that I have. So the first one is a stitch along. This is the Enchanted Quaker sal. If you're new or new to my channel, or you just are interested but haven't gotten around to getting the pattern or starting on this, feel free to join in on the sal at any time. Here's the pattern from Luminous Fiber Arts. Hopefully the lighting is okay. I think that it looks a little dark right now. Clouds, I don't know. It's weird skies because of the storm. So hopefully it's not too bad. Maybe if I sit back a little bit. But anyway, so this is kind of a start when you want. We kind of officially started on June 30th, but join in at any time. If you're not in the mood to stitch Halloween, but in about a month think you might be, then join in then. Not a problem. Really loosey-goosey with this one, but I love this pattern. And so I was initially gonna stitch this on a 36 count pearl fabric, and I realized I did not measure the fabric before I kitted it up. And so then I measured it to make sure I got my margins right and realized that piece would have given me about 1 or 1.5 inch margins, which I worried about with a pattern this big. It's funny because you look at it here and you think like it's a lot of stitching, but it doesn't look big, probably because this is like this teeny little packet. And so I didn't think this was that big, but it's actually 124 by 254. So it's quite a bit larger, I think, than I was thinking. And I think I just didn't measure the fabric and thought I have this huge thing of the pearl gray, it'll be fine. But luckily, the good thing about having a lot of stash and having a good amount of fabric stash is that if something doesn't work out, you usually have another option. So I had this 40 count Slate by Fiber on a Whim, and I think this is gonna be perfect. So it's a little lighter and it's got more of a bluish tint than the pearl gray, but I think it's gonna look really nice. It is slightly mottled. I don't know if you'll be able to tell. Yeah, I think you can see some of the modeling. So it's gonna look really nice, and I'm loving stitching on this one. Now this is not the easiest 40 count to stitch on. It does take a good amount of light and concentration, but look how pretty. This is gonna be so pretty. I'm doing a Summer Quaker by Leela's Studio, and then I have September Quaker, and I'm gonna forget, by the Heart Needle Art or something by Wendy. She does monthly Quakers, so I have September for my birthday month, and so those are the other 2 Quakers. But I really like stitching these Quakers. Like, they're really fun to see how it comes together, because like especially with this one, I'm stitching it and it doesn't like look like anything until I start actually getting more stitching in, and then you see that kind of the intricacy of it come to life. So I think this is gonna be so fun to stitch. It's gonna turn out so pretty. I'm really excited, and I hope you all are having fun if you're joining in on the sale. Instagram is being a little bit weird with hashtags, so I'm trying to follow the hashtag or keep up, but it doesn't always show the most recent posts. So feel free to tag me if you want, if you're joining in, just to make sure I see it, if you want me to, or just use the hashtag and I'll try to find things. And like, I know Heather, the 20-minute stitcher, is starting this one, and she's using a really pretty variegated floss, so check her out. And she's also starting, I think, in the middle with the cat. And so just if you want to see another stitcher working on this, starting from another point, I think that's probably she's starting in the middle, but that's my progress. And so what I'm doing is, the called for is either Classic Colorworks Black Coffee or DMC 310. And I'm doing DMC 310 for most of it, but pops of color. So this one is, the red is Bing Cherry from Classic Colorworks. I really like that. It looks really cool. So what I'm doing, in case you missed it, is this is gonna be in Bing Cherry. And then down here it says Cauldron Bubble, with the bubbles in the cauldron. And for that one, I'm doing Classic Colorworks Pea Pod. So that's a nice bright green. And then the owl up here is going to be in Classic Colorworks Barn Door. It's like a pinkish brown. And then the moon, I don't have a yellow Classic Colorworks, so unless I get one before I stitch the moon, I'm gonna do Weeks Dye Works Whiskey. And then we're gonna move over to Halloween. And last Flosstube, I asked you whether I should do the Halloween in like a teal color or a purple. I think purple won out, and I agree. So Halloween is gonna be in Blooming Crocus. Pop of purple there. And then this Quaker or motif at the top here is going to be in, I really like this color, Bejeweled. Makes me think of Taylor Swift's song too, Bejeweled. But it's like a dark and light teal. So that will be the pop of color up here. And then down in the corner, maybe the 31 and the pumpkin, or maybe just the pumpkin, will be in Autumn Spice. And so that way I have color evenly dispersed throughout the pattern, and I think it's gonna look really cool. So I'm really excited. That's a fun one. So if you're joining in, let me know. If you're gonna do different colors, let me know. If you need me to write these down, if you're interested in doing the same thing, just feel free to email me, novelstitcher@gmail.com, and I can go over again exactly what colors I'm doing for what, but it's gonna be fun. I'm excited. So that's my first start. And Bing Cherry was the red that Quaker was in case you're interested in that one. I like Classic Colorworks. They have really nice variegation. The second new start is a Christmas in July start, and it's a tiny one. So this one I'll be able to stitch up really quickly. I don't want to do too many really big starts. I want to keep it even between the sizes of starts. So I'm doing Prairie Schooler 2023 Santa. He's really cute. I really like him. There's some of the Santas I like and some I'm meh on for the Prairie Schooler, but some of them are really cute. And I really like him with the snowflakes, the candy canes in his belt, the little lantern. I think they did a really cute job with him. And so I'm stitching him with the called for on a 32 count, just natural raw linen from Zweigart. And I made really good progress. He's fun to stitch. He's really easy to stitch. So I'm liking him. There's the Santa. And the interesting thing is I don't have the DMC here with me, but the red and the green is much more of a kind of a teal tone when you look at it on its own, and the red is more like a little more pinkish tinge, a little more maroony. And so I was like, that's interesting. I don't know how those don't scream Christmas to me or Santa, but when you put them on the fabric and stitch them together, they look like the perfect Christmas colors. So I am really enjoying working on him, and he's gonna be tiny and pretty easy and quick to stitch up. So that is one of my Christmas in Julys, and he's the first Prairie schooler I've ever done. So I'm enjoying working on him. And all the called for DMC, if I didn't say that. And then the last one that I started, I'm gonna put here. And this is from Punch Needle and Primitive magazine. I have a digital subscription, so I get it just online, and I have not yet stitched anything from it, even though I've had the subscription all this year. And so I decided to get moving on stitching some things for that. I'm gonna forget what the hashtag is called, so I'm gonna put it here. But Sarah from Sarah's Stitchy Spot is doing a kind of like a SAL or an activity where you stitch something from Punch Needle and Primitive, just to kind of don't do what I do, which is not stitch anything from it. It's basically like you're getting this magazine. A lot of people forget that they have it or don't think to stitch something from it, and it really has some wonderful patterns, and this is just a way to make sure we're all stitching on it. And if you go to that hashtag on Instagram, you can get inspiration and see what other people are stitching, and maybe it's something you hadn't thought of stitching but you love what someone else is doing with it, so that might be worth checking out. But the one I'm doing is Dancer from Barbara Anna, and I think he's so cute. I've seen a ton of people stitch him, and so I thought he would be a really fun one also for Christmas in July. I'm gonna forget the name of this fabric. Is it over there? Oh, it is. Pardon my going off camera for a second. I'm gonna try not to knock this over. Okay, so the fabric, I got it from Fat Quarter Shop. It's the Basalt Splash 32 count lugana, and so it looks kind of like snow, so it's really cool. I'm really liking stitching on this, and I don't have a ton of progress on him, just his antler and the first few houses. I'm using all the called for DMC, but this is so cool. This fabric looks like snow. It's just a neat idea, and I like the way she did the pattern to incorporate this, because I think it works, oops, really, really well. And so I'm enjoying stitching on that. And this isn't going to take long. Well, it'll take me a bit of time to stitch up. I'm not the fastest stitcher, but I really found myself enjoying stitching what I have on this so far. So I think it'll be the type of one that I won't want to put down once I am stitching on it, and might just stitch on it all through the night. When I am working on it, I listened to an audiobook while stitching on this, and it was just perfect. So that is Dancer, and that is on the Basalt Splash. So that's a lot of fun. So I definitely recommend, you know, if you're not already subscribed to, I think it's called Punch Needle and Primitive, but if you're not already subscribed to that one, definitely worth it to do the online subscription. And I think when I subscribed for this year online, I got the previous 2 years. So you really do get quite a lot of the magazines and a lot of patterns to choose from here. So that's progress I made so far, just some of his antler and the little town. And it does have a date on the top in between his antlers. I meant to look up what that date is and I forgot, but I'm not sure if I'm going to stitch that. TBD on that one. So those are my 3 new starts. And let's get to whips. So there is WIPGO going on. I am doing WIPGO. It's from Jessie Marie Does Stuff. It is like a bingo board where you put all your whips, or for me, I do themes, and so, or whips. And so one of the ones that was called for June is Winter Rose Manor, and I had to work on that for 8 hours. So I finished up my 8 hours and made some progress since you last saw this. Definitely need to iron this one. This soft linen gets very wrinkled being in the Q-snap, This is a 36 count summer khaki. I'm using all the called for fancy floss, and since you last saw it, of course there is a wrinkle going straight through it. I did stitch my initials there, KD, and then another bird below that, and I finished the actual basket itself. I think I have one more flower that I have to stitch up there. The flowers are not quite done, but most of them, I think I have one more that kind of sticks out over here. I started to finish these, but didn't finish, and then I started on the roof. So I just hopped around a lot in this upper quadrant. And I know you can't, if you hold it back here, you can't really see that basket, but if you hold it here, it does show up. So, and it looks better in person. You can see the white and you can see the basket pretty well in person. You're just getting some of the glare of the sun and the clouds, but this will look really pretty when done. We really want to make progress on this one. I haven't finished anything really big yet. Oh, you know what I didn't do though is show you the pattern itself. So let's show you that while I talk about it. So you've all seen this one, I'm sure. But Winter Rose Manor from Brenda Gervais with a needle and thread. It's just beautiful. And so many people have stitched this, and it's fun to see because people have framed it in different ways. People have stitched it on different fabrics. People have done the house in different shades of pink. I think I saw one stitch the house in blue, which was an interesting idea. So people really put their own spin on it. And I think it's just a beautiful pattern. And I don't have anything like a larger sampler finished or anything larger framed like this. So I would like this to be the first larger one that I finish, and something that you would really frame really nicely and hang on the wall. I just need to get to it with this one. So this might be a focus for my winter of whips, like finishing this one before the winter is over. That might be something I focus on, but I'll have to see how I feel. But yeah, this is something I love to frame and put up in my new house. So that is Winter Rose Manor. And stitching this basket was kind of fun. I really like the way it turned out and the variegation. So I am enjoying that one. But who hasn't enjoyed that one who stitched it? And if you have not stitched it and you're like thinking about it, I really recommend it. It's really, really just lovely. So next I have my next WIPGO was for June, was Christmas. And so I worked on Christmas delivery by Cottage Garden Samplings for Christmas was 8 hours. So I did 4 on Christmas delivery by Cottage Garden Samplings, which you saw in my last video. So I'm not going to show it again because you had seen all the progress I made. And then I wanted to put another 4 hours into Christmas Rules. This is another Primrose Cottage, and this is a fun one. I like the idea of like a really long one that you could finish on a board with like a pretty bow, put up in the corner of a living room or something like that. And so I only had to put in 4 hours of stitching on this one. And this is on like a mystery, I think it's a 35 count linen. And so this is where I'm at with this one. I'm using mostly the called for. I think I'm using a slightly brighter green maybe, but mostly the same colors, just like a little bit brighter. So I did drink, finished that border, below deck the halls, and started on the cup of hot cocoa. Wanted to finish the cup of hot cocoa and I did not finish it. I just did my stitching that I needed to do and I put this away. So I should probably pull this back out again and work on it as we get closer to Christmas. This could be one that I could finish, I think, before Christmas. I have like 20% of it done, maybe 25% of it done, but Primrose Cottage is so easy. This is not hard stitching. It's not like a 40 count or anything like that. And the pattern is pretty simple in color and easy to follow. So I think I can make a lot of progress on this one if I focus on it a little bit as we get closer to Christmas. So that's Christmas Rules. And that's my WIPGO for June. For July, I'm gonna forget the numbers and I might even forget the number of hours, but one of them that was called, well, there were 3 called. That's true. There were 3 called, and my middle square, I think that's number 13, is to fully finish something. So check mark, fully finish 2 things. I finished those on Friday, so they were in July, so that's good. And then another one is, I think, either 5 or 6 hours on Halloween. So Enchanted Quaker will fit the bill for that, and I know I'll get 5 hours of stitching on that this month because I'm really enjoying it. So that was easy. And then the last one was, I think, 5 hours on summer. And so for summer, or in general, because it's beautiful, I'm working on Teresa Kogut's Home Sweet Home. Here's a picture. This is if you are a member of her Patreon. I really like her style and hadn't stitched anything from her, but I decided to join her Patreon last month just to see what she had going on with that and to see her other beautiful patterns, and wanted to stitch something summery and wanted to stitch something summer from her. And this one caught my eye, and this is on a 32 count Dove Lugana. I'm leaving it in the Q-snap, so hopefully, there we go. And I was working on this one this morning. I love this one. I like her style. I don't know what it is, like the blocks of color, but she's got good shading, and there's just, you know, she's a painter and an artist, so there's just kind of like an artisticness to it that I really like. But it's like thicker. I don't know. Some of hers I feel like are more, gentle is not the word, just like more fine or more prim, and you would use maybe 1 strand and possibly a larger count. If you like doing that, you wouldn't have to, but like it would have that feel. And then some of hers I think like really serve themselves well on like a Lugana, on a smaller count with 2/2, like just really bold and beautiful. So I'm really enjoying working on this one. Again, 32 count Dove Lugana. I'm brightening her colors a little, so the flowers are the same, but the beehive is more in yellows. Hers is more shades of brown, and the bees are a little bit of a brighter yellow. The flowers, the middles, are not filled in, but she uses a light brown or a lighter color fabric, like a more neutral fabric. So I'm not sure if I want to fill them in just with the same color and make them full and not have any little thing in the middle, or do that in white, or do that in a lighter or a darker. I don't know. Think about that. I don't want to just leave them because I think it looks weird to have the blue show through. So I'll have to think about that. But this is a fast stitch, especially on the 32 count Dove Lugana. And I really like the Nurge hoop. Someone was asking me about the Nurge hoop. I like Q-snaps the best, depending, but mostly Q-snaps are my favorite. The one thing I found with Q-snap is I hold it, my hand starts to get stiff, and it starts to feel a little bit heavy because it's thicker. This is thinner, so I'm not like gripping as much. I can do a gentler grip on this. It's a little lighter. But I feel like with some of the finer fabric, say the 36 count that I'm doing Winter Rose Manor on, I don't want to be pulling at it to make it tighter because I don't want to rip the fabric. It doesn't hold that kind of fabric as tight in the Nurge hoop. I just don't like that as much. I like the Q-snap better for that, but for this thicker Lugana, I think it's perfect. I think this is pretty tight. I can pull on it. I'm not worried about hurting the fabric, and it's just a little lighter and a little thinner to hold. And so I enjoy the Nurge hoop for that. I wouldn't go bigger, personally, I wouldn't go bigger again than this size because I don't think it's the tightest, and I think the bigger the Nurge hoop, probably the even less tight you'd be able to make it, depending how tight you like your fabric. I have this size and I have one size smaller. The one size smaller, I've been stitching the Prairie Schooler Santa in, and I really like that. Like, it's just tiny. Like, I don't stitch at work, but if I did, or if I travel, like, that's the perfect little hoop to bring your stuff around in, and it just fits in a little plastic bag and just grab and go. So for those reasons, I do like the Nurge hoop. You can get them on Amazon or Fat Quarter Shop or anywhere stitching stuff is sold, pretty much. And I did get this needle minder recently, a little cat. Got a bunch of needles on him, but He's cute. I can always use more needle minders. He's a flamingo toes, and I really like their needle minders. I think they work really well. So that is Home Sweet Home by Teresa Kogut. I always forget to tell you what I'm stitching as far as like 2 strands or 1 strand. So I'm 99.9% of the time, if it's a 32 count or below, I'm stitching 2 over 2, unless it's Ada. And if it's a 32 count or 36 count or 40 count, I'm stitching 1 over 2. So I'll show you that in my next one. And this is my last whip with a very teeny amount of progress, but I'm glad I pulled it out. And it is Oh Joyous Day by Blackbird Designs. It's so pretty. And I really wish I hadn't put this away for so long. I haven't worked on it in a couple months, maybe more than that. I honestly don't know the last time I picked it up, but it's been a long time. It was a Sal, at this point more of a start along with Sarah Stitchy Spot. Sorry. Talking too much and your throat just stops functioning. Anyway, this was a Sal with Sarah Stitchy Spot and Bridget the Museum Stitcher. And I'm really enjoying working on this one. It is so pretty. And I'm doing this on a 36 count needle and flax Steinbeck. And I forgot how much I absolutely love this fabric. Needle and flax is fantastic. If you haven't stitched on it, I recommend it. And Steinbeck is a very pretty color. It's just a nice, perfect sampler neutral. And so I really have not made much progress. See that line there below the flowers? That's it. And it's, again, a little hard to see. The lighting is just not being kind to me today. It is a very light green, this line, and it is satin stitches. And so in person, you can see it really well. It's not here. Just, you don't need to see me right now, right? So, I don't know if I'm doing the satin stitches right. This is Katie's version of a satin stitch. I'm kind of just winging it, which sometimes I do. I mean, I could watch a video. I have watched videos, but I could probably spend more time trying to figure it out. But I kind of just decided to just like pretend I knew what I was doing and make it up as I go. So those are the satin stitches. And then I got bored of doing the satin stitches, so I started doing the other color of cross stitch at the bottom there. But just a teeny bit of progress down at the bottom, less than a night of work. But I think this is so pretty, so I'm gonna probably work on this today more. I really wanna make more progress on that. And so I think that, I don't remember who at Blackbird, I think Blackbird stitched this, but it was Alma, I think. And so I think she stitched it for her son's wedding. It's for someone's wedding. Let me check so I'm not right. Her youngest son. He was on her mind because he was getting married. And so it says, Oh Joyous Day here. It has, I assume, their initials and then their wedding date. And so I might do that as well. I might put me and Alex's initials. Our wedding is December 2nd. And December will not fit here, the full word. And so I think I'm just gonna do 12 with maybe like a Smyrna and then 2. So I will have our wedding date, and you can put the year down here. And so I think I'll put our wedding date on this one, which means I should get a move on. Not that this has to be done. It's not gonna be done before the wedding, but it would be another nice one to have done and hang in our house with our wedding date on it. So this and Rosewood Manor will be my big focuses for my larger ones, though I am stitching another one that I don't have with me because I haven't worked on it in a while by Plum Street. That's kind of like an engagement stitch, which I'm going to put the date of our engagement, but that one's huge. So that one's going to take me a while too, even though we have now been engaged for a few months. That's okay. And that is all my actual stitching, I think. So not bad. 2 finishes, 3 starts, and 4 whips in the last 2 weeks, I think is pretty good. And so I'm gonna go on to haul, and I'll do the haul that I bought first, and then we're gonna do, like, I got some happy mail, which also goes into giveaways. So some of this happy mail that I got will be giveaways as well. And then one of these things is a plan. So the first thing I got, Fat Quarter Shop celebrated its 20th anniversary. They had a 20% off sale. So I decided to treat myself and get a few things. And then that's it for haul until my birthday in September, where I'm hoping to get gift cards or, you know, stitchy treats for my birthday. But I want to be good in the next couple months because I did have quite a bit of haul in the last couple weeks. So I'm on a buying ban. But I did get Fracture Flowers from Kathy Barrick. This is a new release from Kathy Barrick, and I think it's just beautiful. I love the colors of these flowers, these pinks and teals and greens. They're some of my favorite colors, favorite color combinations. Fracture flowers are inspired by an antique fracture done in watercolors. And I don't think it says it on here, but fracture is a style that was, I think, originated in Pennsylvania from the Pennsylvania Dutch. And so since I live in Pennsylvania, there's a meaning there, which made me really like this one. And so this will probably be my birthday start in September. So my birthday is September 11th, so I think I will start this one for my birthday. If anyone else saw this one and it caught your eye, feel free to start with me in early September if you want. I'm not going to do any kind of official sal, but if you want to join in and stitch it with me, if this one appeals to you and you saw it, let me know. That would be fun. So that's one of the things of haul I got. And then I got a bunch of fabric. I think Fat Quarter Shop has a really good selection of like Swargart and just luganas. I don't, in my opinion, think they have the best selection of the higher count linen. So I just got a whole bunch of luganas because they were having their sale and I really wanted to have just some stuff in stash. Though not all of these are luganas. And I just wanted a ton of fabric. So this is much more than I thought it was gonna be, but I'll use it a lot. This is a platinum 32 count lugana and I got a 27 by 36. So this is like a blanket, but this is just, I think you can stitch most anything on like a platinum and it'll look perfect. The whites will show, it's neutral. It's just kind of, to me, a really great, you know, pull a pattern out of stash and you want to stitch it, you can probably use this. And if I don't use a ton of it up before the end of the year, I do want to do the, is it Heart in Hand? Hands-on design, I think. I showed it in my last video. I got hands-on designs month to month. They're little monthly blocks. So that might be the perfect fabric. I'm not gonna start those until the new year and then do one each month, but I think that'll work for that. I got a 40 count Vintage Country Mocha because Vintage Country Mocha will work also for pretty much anything and a lot of designers use it. So I have some 40 count of that. And then I got a 32 count light taupe. It's slightly lighter and a slightly different tinge than the platinum. And so I just got, again, a lugana. So I got that. So if you like lugana, I like how they package it. And I just think that Fat Quarter Shop does a good job. And so that is my haul. And then for Happy Mail, let me see if I can, where did I put this? Oh, shucks. I had their business card. Here we go. So for Happy Mail, I was asked if I wanted to receive a package from a new online cross-stitch shop. They are called Stitching Lane. This is their card. They're on Instagram, Facebook, and then they have a website, stitchinglane.com. And they asked if they could send me some stitchy treats and if I liked what I got and their service, recommend them on my channel. So I will say I didn't order from them directly on their website. I always want to be honest if someone sends me something and then I'm going to mention it. The shipping was very quick once I did send them my address. It came within 4 or 5 days. They're located in Florida, or at least that's where they ship from. I don't know how fast their turnaround time would be if you order online, but they seem to have a pretty good selection. They have fabrics, floss, patterns. They do, I think, have quilting and finishing supplies. Lady Dot Creates, which I'll show, they sent me some of that. They seem to have a pretty good selection for being a newer online shop, and I think their thing is to try to make things a little less expensive and to offer a lot of deals. And so if you follow them on Facebook or Instagram, they'll post different codes and they'll have different sales going on in different ways you can kind of get a little bit of money off of your order. And so let me grab this sheet because I also forgot to grab this. So I have a code if you want to check them out and see if you like them, see if you like their selection and save a little money. If you use Katie, K-A-T-I-E, you'll get a 15% discount off your entire order, and that code is good for the rest of the year. You can use that through December 31st, 2023. Is that the last day of the year? But it's Katie, and it's good for the whole year, and you can use it more than once. If you want to buy multiple times, that code can be used as many times as you want. And then if you want free shipping, use free ship, F-R-E-E-S-H-I-P, all one word, and you'll get free shipping off anything $50 or more. So you'll get 15% off if you use Katie, and free shipping for orders $50 or more. And again, just full disclosure, I didn't order anything off their website. They just sent me a package, but it was really nicely packed. Everything was really safe in a nice sturdy box that would be hard to bent or get bent. So that's really nice. And I will show you what I got that I'm keeping, and then I'll show you what I got that I'm gonna give to you all. So they sent me a little needle minder, a little Alice in Wonderland needle minder. It's nice and big. It's got a nice big magnet on the back, so that's really nice. So I'm assuming they have needle minders on their website. I didn't look at the needle minders yet, but I did see that they had a fairly good selection of everything. And then they sent me a Tuscan by Fiber on a Whim, which is a cool reddish color, and I've never stitched on a red fabric, so I thought I'd hang on to this. No idea what I'm gonna stitch on it. Maybe something monochromatic would be cool in either a light pink, like pink on pink, or maybe in white, though I don't know, monochromatic white might not be a ton of fun, but I'll think about what I wanna do with this. It's 18 by 26, 36 count, so good amount of fabric. So I'll see what I wanna do with that. So thank you, Stitching Lane, for that. And then I got some Lady Dot Creates, which I've never used, so I'm definitely gonna make use of these. I got a Storm Blue, which is just a cool blue rickrack. I like that color. Definitely find something to work on that, to work with that. Sizzle, which is the little pom-poms, in a very bright red, which would be fun for a bright Christmas finish. And then Grape Fizz, which is more grape rickrack. And then it fell on the floor, but I got Jack. So imagine this in orange. I'm not gonna, it's over there. I have to get up, and I'm not getting up to get it right now. But it's Jack, and it's this kind with the dots, or the pom-poms, and it's in bright orange. So that'll be good for a fall finish. And then they also sort of kitted something up using their own choices, but I pulled something out of the kit to keep for myself. And then you get the rest of the kit, but sorry. But it's a nice 40 count platinum from Zweigart, and I actually have a pattern in mind that this might work perfectly for, so I did steal this, so I'm sorry, but I'm gonna keep that. And they serged all the edges, which is really nice. I don't know if Zweigart comes serged. I don't think it comes all the way serged all around, so that's really nice. So that's what I'm keeping. But as for what you can get as a stitchy treat, we're gonna start with some other linen, and then I am gonna give this away as like 2 things in one, and the pattern is me giving the pattern away just so you get fabric and a pattern. Not the fabric necessarily works with the pattern, it's up to you. It might be a little too dark, but I didn't want to just send fabric for some reason. I just felt like you should get 2 little things. But the fabric they sent is a nice 18 by 26, 36 count Affogato from Fiber on a Whim. And I have a good chunk of Affogato, so this is for you. Oh, so how to get a stitchy treat. All you need to do is put the number I announce with it in your comment, be 18 years or older, and just put the numeral 1, 2, or 3. Today we'll have 3 giveaways, so 1, 2, or 3. And you can enter for more than one if you want. I use a random comment picker. In my next video, I will announce the winner. You will then need to send me your email address and I will ship this out to you. It would be lovely if you were a subscriber, just because I know then I'm sending something to someone who really appreciates my channel and watches me. So yeah, all you gotta do is put the number in. So number 1 is the Affogato by Fiber on a Whim, 36 count, 18 by 26 cut. And they package it really nicely with their logo. There's their site again, their nice logo. And then they put the Fiber on a Whim, staple that so you know what you're getting. So, and then along with that, and this is just from my stash to give away, and it might or might not work with this fabric, but I think it's a pretty pattern regardless, is Tall Oaks from the Cricket collection. So for fall, I'm in a kind of fall mood, so even though it's hot out and rainy. So if you would like this pattern and the fabric, please put 1 in your comment. And then the next thing I'm giving away is the thing they sort of kitted up that I stole the fabric from. But it is Lovebird Bouquet from Happiness is Handmade, Heartmade, which is this really cute pattern with these birds and flowers and hearts. It's really pretty. I really like that. And it's really very simple. The pattern is in color. It's just on the back here. This is just really, I don't know what the size is. Oh, it's down there, 85 by 85, so it's not huge, but it's really pretty. And then along with the pattern, and again, this is number 2, the pattern is DMC, is what is called for, but instead they kitted it up with Classic Colorworks, which is really nice. And so you would get the light green, a dark green, oh, so it's bean sprout, grasshopper, ribbon red, and Wheatley Woodlands. And so it's only 4 colors in here, the brown, a light green, a dark green, and a red. And so they just kitted it up using their own conversion of Classic Colorworks, which is really nice. These would also be nice for Christmas. If you get this pattern and don't want to stitch it right away, you could use these for Christmas. They also added, which I'll send with it, some little floss drops with their logo. So you can use those if you'd like to take them off of these. And I'll send it with the ring too. So put number 2 if you want this pattern with their nice conversion with Classic Colorworks. And I think they sell that on their website. I think that they do some little conversions on their website. And then the last thing I'm gonna offer, and again, I didn't want to just send one little pattern off, so one thing is from Stitching Lane and one thing will be from me. And so this is number 3, put number 3 in your comment, and it is Shannon Christine Designs Witch's Brew. So that's really cute. So you get this really nice thick pattern, Shannon Christine Witch's Brew. And this is, I guess, part of her Halloween club. So this is the first installment. So I think they'll have the others if you win this and want to pick up the other 2. And along with Witch's Brew, keeping in the Halloween theme, I have the Just Cross Stitch magazine from October 2021. And so I'm going to give that away. It's got some really lovely patterns, including this really awesome lady witch. And so if you want to win Just Cross Stitch from 2021 and the Witch's Brew, get started on your Halloween stitching, put number 3. And so those are the giveaways. So I hope you will enter, and I hope good luck. I hope you'll win. And so that's everything for the Happy Mail. So thank you so much to Stitching Lane. Give them a look, see if you like them. Use Katie if you want to get a discount. I think they might be having a sale going on because they just started business. That's 10% off, but you get more with my code. So just keep that in mind if you see a code on their website when you log in or go onto their website. My code is actually 15, and I think they have a 10% off, I think. But they could have changed it since I last looked. But you can use mine at any time. So just use my name. And then the last thing we'll chat about here, because we're almost at an hour, is plans. So as I said, I'm gonna have my summer of starts. You saw some of my starts. I'm not gonna go too crazy, but there are quite a few things I wanna start. I don't know if I'll have a ton of starts the next 2 weeks or if next week will be quiet and then I'll have a ton of starts later on, but I'm just going with the flow. I'll see what kind of sales pop up or anything like that. I am part of Liz Matthew and Teresa Kogut's Patreons, so we'll see what, you know, they continue to come out with. I really liked Teresa Kogut's patterns that she released this month. She did Christmas ones. One is a Santa with all different stitchy supplies, which is really cute. It's just a little, so I might want to start that one, even though I'm stitching another Santa. You can't have too many Santas if you're into Christmas. And then she has some with reindeer, but I think they can be, if you're not fully into like Santa Christmas and like that part, the reindeer, they're just deer, and they have like, I'm trying to remember what they look like. I can put one. I like this one. I'm gonna put it there. You have to join her Patreon to get this pattern. I think you have to be a tier 4. I decided to just do the whole thing and go up to the highest tier because I think her stuff is just so beautiful, and you get 2 or 3 patterns a month for free, so, or not for free, but with the subscription and videos and all of this content, so, and like discounts in her shop and access to her secret shop with all of the past releases that you can pay for, but they're digital patterns, so it's $5 to $10, so it's really a worthwhile Patreon subscription if you like Teresa Kogut's designs, but I really like this one, and so I might stitch that one. I might also want to do Autumn Lane, Lantern Lane. I love Lantern Lane. I've always loved this one. This might be a bit of work though. It's $199 by $125, and that house is pretty big. But I have some of the floss. If I wanted to do all the fancy, I'd have to get some more. So we'll see about this one. I do have extra needle and flax Steinbeck, which I think this would look gorgeous on, so at least I have the fabric in stash. Because I want to do starts, but I don't want to be buying a lot or anything really. So if I wanted to get the fancy floss for Lantern Lane and I got a gift card for my birthday, maybe I would use it for that. But mostly, besides for buying DMC, I want to be able to do all my new starts from stash for the most part. And then Lauren from the New Hampshire Stitcher is doing a sale, probably I think Labor Day weekend or the very beginning of September, the BAP to school sale. BAP stands for Big Bleep Project. And it's just stitch your biggest project or stitch a really big project or stitch for you what's something really big. You know, maybe, you know, some people do full coverage. To them, that's really big. Some people, you may have never done something of a certain size. So there's no strict rules, I don't think, from Lauren for that. So I think I'm gonna do poinsettias and pines. I got this at Sea Needles in Bethany Beach, and it's a little hard to see. Could have taken it out of the plastic, but that's all right. But it's just really pretty. It's got these poinsettias and the trees and the cardinals, and it says, "The smell of pine, the crackling fire, all the snow one could desire. Hot cocoa with marshmallows, cookies in the kitchen, treasure the gifts that winter has given." I like a poem, so I think that's really pretty. And that's why I wanted to keep the 40 count platinums out of Swigart, because that's gonna work perfect. So that might be my BAP to school sal start. I'm trying to see, this was stitched on 40 count fawn by Lakeside, but I think the platinum will be the absolute, it's really similar, so it'll be perfect. As long as it's big enough. I will have to actually measure it. Don't want to make a mistake of choosing fabric that's not the right size. And then a few others. I'm on my Teresa Kogut kick, I guess, because I'm interested in maybe stitching Santa's Young Buck. Super cute. Or maybe Whimsy Witch. I might stitch her. She might be my next one just because I don't have a ton of Halloween. And look how cute she is. Look at her face. So cute. Like I fell absolutely in love with this one the first time I saw it. So I probably want to start on this one. And I like the little stories Teresa Kogut tells. So the house is angry because she gets to go out trick-or-treating and the house has to stay behind and deal with the little obnoxious trick-or-treaters, and she gets to have fun. So he's a little grumpy about that. And she has a cat. So I like this one a lot. Love Halloween. So that might be my next start. And then another one that I will definitely start is this Joyous Season. This is part of a SAL with, oh no. See, when you don't write things down, this is my problem. I write half of the notes down that I need and then half I don't. And then I'm like, oh wait, who did that? Because when you're up here just talking, your memory tends to blank out. And I wrote it in this notebook for my last video, so it's in here. I need to find it because I don't want to get their names wrong. Okay, so this Joyous Day is going to be Stitch This Joyous Season SAL. It'll start on July 25th, and it's hosted by Mrs. Smith Stitches and Stitching is Elementary. So Repeat the Sounding Joy, This Joyous Day by Plum Street. Another one that I wanted to start for a while that I just fell in love with the first time I saw it. It does have the British flag here. You can change that out for the American flag, but I might remove that altogether and maybe stitch another little tree there or something. I just don't know that a floating flag is my style. It's not like on the ground, it's just sitting there. So I might take that out, but that is called for is Up in the Attic by Fox and Rabbit, which it's interesting to look at like this. And this looks like kind of a brownish tan color, like maybe a hint of pink. And then this, depending on the light, is either brown, like a tan brown, but it also has some pink in it. It's an interesting, and like it doesn't, sometimes it looks like this, and sometimes it looks like it has more of a reddish tint. I know Mrs. Smith Stitches wasn't sure if she wanted to use this or not. And I think it'll work, like the white will really pop. I think the red will look cool on it. So I think it's just different. It is darker than I think it looks here, but it is the called for. I'm sure a lot of people have stitched on it, though dye lots change. It's looking more brown now, but it does have like just this tinge of like reddish pink in it too. But I think I'll probably will stitch this on this, but I do have other fabric in stash if I change my mind. I should probably just do a floss toss and see how I like it. There's not a lot of variegation in here, so I'm probably just going to use the DMC because I don't think it's really worth buying the fancy floss. Like sometimes for the house you want that variegation, but because the house is bricks and it's split up by other color, I don't think it's going to matter so much to use the variegated. The only thing I think that the variegated can offer is DMC is a little bit brighter and shinier, and sometimes I think that the fancy floss can give you like a softer, more primitive look, but I think DMC for this one will work fine, and then I don't have to spend any more money except maybe buy a few things of DMC, which is not gonna break the bank. So I think that's everything. No bookish talk because I knew this was going to be a long video and we're at an hour. But thank you so much for joining in. Let me know what you think of my stitching. Am I crazy for the summer of starts? I don't know, but I think it'll be fun. I'm not going to like be starting 20 things. It'll probably be like maybe another 5 or so things. So it won't be too crazy. And it might bleed into the fall a little, but fall is gonna be like, I don't know, fall, because the wedding is in December, and I think September, October, and November are gonna go by in a flash, and I'm not even gonna know what happened, and I'm not even gonna probably have a lot of time for anything but like making sure everything's in order for the wedding and possibly the house. So fall is just gonna be like the time that was forgotten, but I'll try to make sure I take a breath and appreciate, you know, what's coming up, and appreciate the fall and appreciate all the good things in my life. And I hope you are able to appreciate the good things in your life. I hope you have some things that you're looking forward to or some good things in your life. If you're going through a rough time, you know, reach out if you need anything, and I hope that things get better for you, but I hope everybody is, for the most part, having a good summer and able to focus on all the good things in their lives. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all again in 2 weeks. Happy stitching, and if you're reading right now, happy reading.